All right, welcome back to another episode of Guitar Fundamentals on the Road. There are a ton of types of chords out there, right? We have triads, sevenths, ninths, 11ths. And the question is, how do we get these into music and what genres do they belong in? So I'm going to answer that question for you really quickly. First and foremost, you have a root note or dyads, triads, or seventh chords. Those guys belong in the rock and roll genre, which we'll talk about. Triads, 3-note chords, seventh chords and ninth chords belong to blues, and seventh chords, ninth chords, 11th and 13s belong to jazz. With that being said, I'm going to introduce these ideas in great detail. Thank you so much for being here, and let's get to it. Now, before we begin, my bulldog is right there. So if you hear any weird noises, it's not me, I promise. So today we're going to be talking about the certain types of chords, and you want to know this, trust me, the certain types of chords that go into certain genres of music. And this is going to be highly educational, I believe, for the people who aren't even aware of this. So let's just start at the very beginning. Now, I know that a chord in music has to be 2 or more notes, but we're going to start with 1 note. Here's the deal. When you have 1 note, we're not going to say 1-note chord, but 1 note, 2-note chords, 3-note chords, and 4-note chords, and I'll explain all this. That stuff is in the rock and roll genre. And so what do I mean by that? Well, if I have like a 1-note riff, that's going to be in the rock and roll genre. All right. If I have 2 notes, now what type of chords are 2 notes? Well, I'll show you. They're either power chords, or like dyads. Just 2 pieces or 2 notes of a chord. We're still in the rock and roll genre. 1 note, 2 notes are in the rock and roll genre. 3 notes, known as triads, major and minor chords like this, A major, right? When you have major and minor chords, those types of chords have 3 notes in them, okay? They do. They have the 1, 3, and 5 of the major scale, major and minor chords, all right? You have a song that has major and minor chords in it, those are going to still be in the rock and roll genre. Check us out. Like, all right, 1 chord, 1 note, excuse me, rock and roll. Let's put some distortion on, right? 2 notes, we can thicken up that power chord. 3 notes with the triads, with major and minors. All that stuff belongs in the rock genre. All right. Now, 4-note chords. 4-note chords are known as seventh chords. I have a video about seventh chords right here in case you want to educate yourself. Now, seventh chords have 4 notes, and between 1-note and 4-note chords belong in the rock genre. You're going to see, like, you might see a song in the rock and roll genre that has, major, minors, and all of a sudden random 7th. Well, you're still allowed to have it. So now instead of playing major, I'm going to play a 7th chord, just an A7. Oh my gosh. All right. So we have A7, C7, G7, D7, right? Think Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, right? Something like that, right? It's 7th chords. It's still in the rock and roll genre. That was terrible. I forgot how to play that song. But the idea is 1 note, 2 note, 3 note, or 4-note chords are in the rock genre. Now, blues. The next genre you're looking at that overlaps is the blues genre. You have rock between 1 and 4 notes and in chords, and blues goes from 3 notes to 4, maybe 5. So let's talk about it. If you're playing the blues, you need minimum a major or minor chord. So if I'm sitting playing the blues, right, I'm going to be playing majors or minors because those are known as triads, which have 3 notes in them. So if you need to play a blues, you need to be playing minimum major and minor chords. Those have 3 notes. the 4-note chords, the 7th chord, that is where the usual blues lives, okay? So I'm gonna play the same thing, but with 7ths. Seventh chords. Now, 5-note chords are, oh my God, are 9th chords, okay? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And if we play 9th chords, we can still get a blues, but we get a jazzy blues, right? Here's a simple 9th chord like this. All right? And so if I was playing, let's say, like an A blues, well, I can play an A blues. This is another 9th chord. So I can sit and like put 9th chords in. This is an A9 here. All right, as you get into 9th chords in the blues, it starts to get into a jazzy blues. 9th chords have 5 notes, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Now, jazz. Jazz bare minimum is 7th chords. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not a very strong jazz player. I've never really gotten into jazz playing. I understand how it works, and I'm not very good at jazz chords, but I'll let you know that jazz starts very minimally at the 7th chord. The jazz starts with the 7th chord being the smallest chord, the 4 notes, but mostly you're gonna see 9th chords in jazz, which are 5-note chords, 11th chords, which are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. 6-note chords, well, on guitar you gotta sacrifice some, and even 13ths, all different kinds. Now, I'm not gonna play an example for you because I'm just not a jazz player. You can YouTube jazz guitar teachers. Jens Larson, how are you? And so the idea is this: the amount of notes in a chord goes towards its genre, right? So if you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 notes, 1 note, 2-note power chords or dyads, 3 notes triads, or 4 notes 7th chords, you can play any of those in the rock type genre. And rock, I mean classic rock, Americana rock, hopefully you know kind of like that rock era. Blues, okay, blues starts minimally, the minimum of the triad, excuse me, major and minor chords, 7th chords, and 9th chords. All right, you can sneak them in. Jazzy blueses, think Stormy Monday, have 9th chords and 7th chords, but you can hear the effect. When you have a 9th chord playing, there's 5 notes and it starts to get a little muddy, and so you get this jazzy type sound here, all right? And then jazz is 7th chords and above. Hopefully this is making sense. So if you want to practice this stuff with me, check me out on Patreon. I'll make a few practice sessions about writing songs with different chords. I'm not going to write jazz stuff. I'm just not a jazz guitar player. But we can discover how this stuff works and go a little bit deeper. So hopefully this made sense, and hopefully you enjoyed watching it, and that my snoring bulldog didn't really ruin the video. But I got to keep this in because I'm short on time. So hopefully this made sense. Please let me know. All right. Oh, by the way, what I want to say is all these rules are made to be broken, right? And so I'm sure that somebody can find a jazz song that just has 1 note or power chord, maybe. Somebody can find a rock and roll song that has an 11th chord in it. Great, like bands like Yes, they're gonna have it, right? But they transcend these different genres, all right? But this is a general rule of thumb. Thank you so much for being here. Let me show you Tonka. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Tonka, my bulldog. And this is what she looks like 24/7. So she's the one that was making the noises and hitting the things as I was recording. Right, Tonka? Right? All right. We're gonna go play some music and she's gonna take a nap. Bye. She's snoring. All right, and so I'm not gonna air this video. You gotta be quiet. All right. So when you have a song that has major, oh my God, between 3 and 5 chords, they're 3 and 5 note chords. I'm really gonna leave this in, and I'll show you my bulldog when we're done. Please, shh. When I'll show you her when we're done. The smallest chord. I hope you can hear her because I'm just making faces. With the, I swear, I hope you can hear her.